Hello everybody. Hi Rebecca. Hi Ramona. Hi Ilyanka. I hope everybody's doing good, and if you were in the path of the storms of that went through 4 states Friday night and Saturday morning, I hope you weren't very badly affected. Hi Elaine. Good. Hi Sharon. So I thought of making a little bit of a more unusual snowflake cane live. My hands are feeling much better, but I'm going to still try and go fast with it because I still don't want to put too much strain yet on my hands. So first and foremost, we need to make a Skinner blend. So for the Skinner blend, I'm going to add 1.5. So all the clay is on the thickest setting, and I'm using a 1.5 square cutter. Hi Colleen, hi J9, hi Adelaide, hi Cherry, hi Kitty. So and by the way, with all the colors that are now on the Cernit, you can do this with Cernit if you're in Europe and it's harder to find Premo where you are, because these are all colors that Cernit also has. Alright, so 1.5 parts of white, then 1 part of pearl white, then 1 part of metallic blue, and then 1.5 parts of black. This is for the first part of the cane, which is obviously a Skinner blend, right? And I'm going to use my diamond thing. Just a second. Got to grab a paper towel. So these are the 1 part flat, right? So and then 1 here and another half here. So once I got them all, I want them to be nicely stuck at the very middle. And then cut in the middle, and now you have a nice rectangle. And one more time to get it thick enough to go through the pasta machine on the thickest setting. And then I'm going 2 sizes down. And then I can go ahead and fan it to get everything faster done. And you notice that on both the blue and the pearl white, the colors on the side went all the way to the middle, because I kind of need just a faintness of that color, if that makes any sense. All right. And then I'm going to hurry this up by making practically mostly rolls with it, because remember, if you want to make a Skinner blend faster, if you roll it instead of folding, you're gonna have more than just one fold. So your first thing is to first fold here, and then try to make sure that you stay pretty much line on line, because here it's not an extended gradient but a fairly narrow gradient. You have to be very careful at the very end, because that one kind of tends to veer either to the left or to the right. And by doing rolls, you also allow your a Skinner blend to stay narrow, not to widen too much. But I'm going to definitely have to do this several times, then have to fold to let it widen up, and then do another fan, because if you remember my old Skinner blend tutorial, just a second. In the very beginning of it, and you can find it in the playlists on my channel, in the basic techniques, beginner techniques, whenever you have a big difference, hi Anna, hi Karen, whenever you have a big difference in the lightness of the colors, like here we have the white and the black, even if there is some blue in between, it's going to require way more passes than, let's say, a yellow and red Skinner blend. And keeping this narrow. And then I'm going to start, see how here it veered, so I'm going to have to bring it a little bit more to the left, because I don't want it to come, I don't want the blue to come all the way in the white, so I'm trying to keep it in line here. And after this roll, I'm going to start folding. And it doesn't have to be super duper perfect gradient, because I'm not going to make a widened gradient, I'm going to flatten it. Okay, so now I'm wide enough, but I'm going to have to refold it. So it's going to come again with some lines, but as I said, it's not that big of a deal, because this time I'm going to need it fairly narrow. And be careful, because generally with rolling and stuff, you're going to get air pockets. Like, see these? These are air pockets. Just go in and cut into them. Now you can see that my Skinner blend is starting to veer very much towards gray with just a little bit of a tint of blue. Hi Darla, hi Carla. It's very cold here. And I mean, we've been in a yo-yo of weather. We had like 77 degrees a couple days ago. Now we have at night, last night was 31, and the high today is 50. And then it's gonna keep being cold for 2 days, and then Wednesday and Thursday I think we're gonna have again like 77. And maddening. So now see how I have here, it went a little bit too much in, and here as well. So you want to bring them back on track when that happens, so they don't go, I mean obviously they will go a little bit like this, but not too much. Did you do your order, Carla? And I am very sorry about the delay, but what happened, I emailed Trish Sunday, then by the time she answered me, I had to go to the doctor to get the shots in my hands, and once I got the shots in my hands, I didn't care about anything. It was so darn painful. But oh well. I had a resident who gave me the shots because the doctor was called in an emergency surgery, and the poor guy, he poked me like 3 times before I showed him, you're not supposed to go through here, you're supposed to go through here, and he finally managed to give it. Aren't you getting some storms, Adrian? The remnants of that big thing, or they already went through? But that storm system was horrible. I know that I was noticing Friday late afternoon that there were like 12 tornado warnings in all that area, and apparently there were more than 50 overall with the whole. Alrighty. Almost there, just again make sure no trapped air, and make sure it's well and nice. Now I'm going to just do a few folds, and again, don't allow it to get too white. Hi Francis, I think that I'm good now. Yes, I am pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is simply to cut and stack. So no, you did not. You should have messaged me, because Trish messaged me and she was like, somebody contacted me, is she for real? Yeah, she is. I was just moronic because of hand pain. Strish knows that I do those these giveaways. Okay, you don't have to be super duper precise. Just do as much as you can in preciseness. And then we are going to stack them. Good. Yeah, I saw in California is supposed to get a big snowstorm as well. That's crazy. Alright, at this point you want to pretty much keep it like 1 inch, not more than 1 inch on this side. Just keep elongating it, and you want to elongate it pretty much, flatten it, and see, be careful because you might get some corners that stay behind. But here, theoretically, we want to flatten it like this, but at the same time do not let it widen too much. Well, yeah, because if you leave stuff in your cart, it messes up her inventory. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Catherine. Okay, so what we do now is to flatten it, because we want to get to the point that we get this through the pasta machine on the thickest setting. And you want to be pretty much not like 3/4 of an inch, more like 7/8, because when you're going to get it through the pasta machine, it's going to widen even more. So this is pretty much how much you need to But yeah, as a general idea, when you shop online, it's not a good idea to leave your cart without checking out too much, because let's say that one product runs low and other people cannot buy it, and it's okay if you end up buying it, but sometimes people just decide, oh, I don't want this anymore, so other people skip. And also most of the software that we have on online stores will give notifications about, hey, you're running out, somebody just bought so many and you're running out, you need to reorder. And that happens when it's taken out of the inventory. So if it's taken out of the inventory and it's not purchased yet, you spend money before needing to spend money. I don't know if that makes sense. Alrighty. Okay, so we got this now, and it should be just enough for a big nice snowflake cane. And I'm going to grab me some white too. And I got the white on the middle thickness, like a 5. Okay. So, let me get this away for a moment. And just one more minute, I need to get my black ready, because we are going to fill with black. I got some black on the thickest setting. If you don't have metallic blue, then mix some cobalt blue in the white pearl. You can also use just the plain cobalt, but it's not going to have the same little light play that otherwise it would have. Okay, so we're ready to start. And get rid first of this end here. Oops. And let me see what would be comfortable for me to start with. Let's say a 3-inch. Then I'm going to grab a 1-inch, another 1-inch, and a 3/4 of an inch. All right, the first 1-inch. Straight, nice and straight. Place it here. So this will be with the white face down. Okay. So the first one. The second one the same. Oops. I know it looks a little bit like this to cut it like that, but remember I have to keep it under the camera. Hi, Chris. And then I'm going to grab one piece for filler. and another one, another piece here about 1/2 inch. First of all, for the 1/2 inch, I'm going to grab a little bit of black and I'm going to make a snake. So this will be the inside, the very inside. And in order to make that snake, I'm going to make a bead and then a roll, and it's way too big. I want it to be pretty much 1/4 inch, not more. And you always put the black on black. So this is so you don't get confused later. You always put the black on black. I'm going to try to make it not very complicated because remember I'm trying to keep the Sunday more on the beginner side. So this goes here. This goes like this. Then the next one, again it's black on black. The next one I'm going to cut it also on the black side in a diagonal through both, pretty much, more or less. And then this one gently comes like this. And we can give it another little snake. Hi, Sassy. And this one the same, only that we will use a bigger snake. Oops, sorry, it goes this way. We will use a bigger snake, a thicker one. About the size of this. Hey, Judy. Over. I know that most of the snowflake canes that you see are all with straight lines, and we are going to try to do something that's more on the lacy side than on the straight line side. I'm going to still use some straight line, but it will be more on the lacy side. All right, so we have the first one here. And we want to fill a little bit between this and the next one. So I'm going to grab 2 stacks of this and then give it a diagonal cut again. And why do I want to give it a diagonal cut? Because it has to go in this small space here. So there we go. Always, I told you, my thing is that I prefer to use more filler than necessary, just to make sure that everything is filled up, and then I can cut off whatever is not needed. Now obviously here I'm going to need some black to fill up this whole thing, so again diagonal because we want it to go all the way here. Next one goes pretty much straight. And the next one goes again in a diagonal, only that it's going to go the other way because it comes it comes on top of this. So if here the diagonal goes like this, here it will go like this. So we have pretty much a straight thing here. And because it's going to go like this here, what I'm going to do obviously is to cut again a diagonal. So, goodness gracious, that little shred of white is really messing up everything on my table. Alrighty, so what you want to make sure is that the white touches the white. Oh, pretty good. Then again, a diagonal, because obviously it needs to come under here. Right, and another diagonal. And at this point I need another line of black. So now we take care of this one, and obviously it will also need a little diagonal to go properly on here, and then pretty much a straight. Can you see the black on black? The best clay for canes is Kato. The second best for canes is Fimo Professional. But you can make canes with pretty much everything except Skull P3. I mean, honestly, I'm still thinking how the heck back in the late 80s, early 90s were we able to even make canes with that Skull P3 thing? And generally speaking, the clay was way softer than what it is now. Okay, and the second thing, again, make sure that you have the white touching the white. Bring the black over. And on the very top, we are going to make again another roll, but this time it's going to be a little bit bigger, and it's going to be like 1.5 inches long. So, one more time. A roll. Thank you, Francis. And make the roll about 1/2 inch. Let's cut this like this. As you know, that on this one I do not have a backing of black, right? It's just plain the Skinner blend on around the black sausage. And it's going to have to be filled on this side, of course. I don't know about you, did you find any black that's not, because everything black that I've been buying lately with Premo is the stretchy kind. And no bleaching, it doesn't really help at all. It's stretchy. It's kind of like the white, stretchy and sticky. No, it did not. I cannot work with keto because the moment I bake keto, my cats throw up really bad, really bad. So I am not. Actually, on this one you have to go pretty much almost to the white line here, almost like if you are making a little heart. Going to place this one again. Make sure that the white touches the white here properly, and this goes kinda to the end. Let me redo the sheet of, and yes, I still do have some pieces here that are going to be added. Yeah, the Premo black is just, and they started with the white, and then all the other stuff got messed up. And there were some of the colors that were the same. Then the translucent had some issues. First it was too hard, then it was too soft. Had the summer of the white that looked like vinyl when it was baked. Thank you, Rebecca. All right, so getting again strips of 1 inch for filling. And yes, I'm going to make more little sausages. You'll see here in a second. Okay, so this will be like this, right? It will be the part that gets what over the black flap. What black flap? I'm not getting what you're saying. All right, so one of them I'm going to cut a very small piece and get it on one on top of the other. And then before I cut it here, I'm going to do a diagonal because I want it to be a little bit thicker than just the thickest setting. And this goes right here. You might want to have to peel back a little bit the very top, and then you place it here. And now we are creating a flat. And another one, I'm going like little triangle, I'm going to put it here. And then see how I already have a diagonal here. I'm going to do another diagonal like this. And now I have like a trapezoid, and that is going to go right here. And now I created the, pretty much I created the what will be the flat part. All right, now let's put a little bit here. So obviously you need a diagonal just to fill this part some more. And by the way, another thing that you can do here, yeah, even raw Kato smells. And my main thing is that it's too tough. I mean, even with Fimo Professional I have issues sometimes, but by the way, if you do like Kato and you do like to make canes and you can work with Kato, I think that Trish is going to start carrying it soon. So all right, now let's add some here. And just a tiny bit here because I want the line like this, right? So I can use some of the diagonals that I cut before. And by the way, if you have problems cutting diagonals, you can always make little strings. Okay. Oh, this is I thought this was the end of the table. Goodness gracious me. So I have all kinds of little bits and pieces of diagonals cut, and I'm going to use them. And I'm sorry, sometimes I slip and use my fingernails to cut. It's just because I'm used to do that, obviously. You don't have to feel obligated to do that. I do that because I have very tough fingernails. Alrighty. Now, we do need to put some more volume in this area, right? Obviously, because we don't want a very super skinny snowflake. All right, so another one of those little sausages, and again flex this around it. But I'm very careful here. I'm going to place this actually like this. And then of course I'm going to need some diagonals in there. You can actually get, let's make this a little bit easier for you. So I'm gonna get it out. So what you can do is diagonal cut, place it here, bring it up, and go like half, right? Go like half. Yeah, I don't have to bother, but that's why my fingers get sticky. Okay, so I'm getting it back here. Then we are going to place some black here. and one more black here. And then do another, but this time we are going to do a circle. It's going to be a very delicate one. Yeah, if you chill the canes before cutting, you shouldn't have any problem. So you want this to be relatively fat. So again, like ½ inch. And let's cut this. And go full circle around it. And remember, when you do a full circle, if you bring this over and just gently press and lift it up, you're going to get the mark where you need to cut. And it's going to get cut perfectly. So we place this here. And then let's put a little bit right here. Just a little bit, not a lot. Just to give it this part. Going to have to cut some more black. Oh no, I do have some more. Never mind. I do have black. No. This should be good. This should be just fine. So what I need to do now is just to simply get this all the way. Yeah, you can use clay softener for Kato, but you defeat the purpose, because if you want to make Kato softer, then you don't need to use Kato. You can use a softer clay. That's why Kato is good for canes, because Kato is very firm. But let me put it this way, you only need firm clay if you need to make a cane that has very precise lines. If you make a more organic type, then you don't need to. I usually see it in my head, but give me just a second, because I need to bring something to show you the trick. Sorry, I had to bake some stuff. Yeah, another thing that you can do, if you have a metal roller pasta machine, you can use your heat gun to heat up the rollers. Not hot to bake the clay, but okay, let me show you the trick. I'm gonna have to, it's a little bit too large, but generally speaking, you can see how it's going to look like if you put the, can you see? This is how it's going to look like. So if you put the mirror tiles like this, then you'll be able to see how your cane is going to look like. It's a kaleidoscope thing. Alright, so all I need to do now is to just fill up these little things, and then I'm going to need a line right here. But if you have very hard clay, Carla, your best bet is to have either never need machine, or buy one of those cheapo, I know they used to be around $8, so now they are 12 or 15 bucks, the little salsa choppers, and that is something you can use to condition the clay, to prepare the clay for conditioning. Yeah, unfortunately I cannot do the brothing because generally speaking I'm a very cold-blooded person, so the warm-up in my bra, under my butt, you name it, it doesn't work because I'm cold. Might have something to do with my low blood pressure. Alright, so let's give it a... You don't want to come with the black over the white here. At least not at the very end here. And then the last thing that we need to do is to add white here. So remember, the white is on the 5th setting on the pasta machine. So it's like right the middle. So this is 1/12 of the cane. I need to first reduce it so I can mirror it like this to become 1/6, and that will be the point where I can reduce it to cut it in 6 and put the snowflake cane together. So you don't want to be too narrow, because if you go too narrow it's not going to be 1/6. One thing that you need to remember is that snowflakes are always 6 radial. They are true kaleidoscope, 6 radial. Don't try to make a snowflake with more or less than 6 spokes. And whenever you reduce a triangle, you have to be careful, because generally speaking the very edges have the tendency to kind of stay behind. So you need to be careful, and when you need to, you just pull a little bit on them. And as usual, when you reduce a triangle, you kind of try to go more on the corner than on the middles. And I'm almost ready to cut it. Yeah, that's why I made it very big. Oops, sorry. That's why I made it big, so you can see exactly what I'm doing. And also I know that usually when I do a live cane, there's going to be quite a bit of loss, because I cannot stop and wait for it to cool off a little bit, so it wouldn't. Alrighty. Now, let's see. Let me bring it to 3 inches. And it's going to be a very delicate one. Now you're gonna end up with something like this, and you want to flatten it this way. Because your triangle has to be pretty much equilateral. And this is a cane that you'll have, if you want to have good results with it, you have to reduce it quite a bit. And I'm talking when it is already made in a snowflake. It starts deforming really bad. I mean, losing stuff. But that's okay. Okay, let's cut some of this here. Not all the way to the end. And there we go. And one thing that I wanted to say is, if you want, you can add some glitter or use the glitter clay instead of the white pearl. That would work great. And if you have Premo also has a glitter blue, so you can use that instead of the metallic blue. Alrighty. Yes, you always have to store, whenever you store a cane, your best bet is to store it in the beginning triangle. Because in order to warm up a cane, you'll have to reduce it a little bit. And if it's already reduced to smithereens, that's... But once you put the... I mean, I'm not talking about a snowflake cane like this one. Generally, once you put the original triangle, and if you haven't watched yet and you're newer to my channel, I recommend you watch my Complex Canes 101. Let me share it. Because on that one I actually explain how the canes are created how many types, why we call most of them kaleidoscopes, but they are not really kaleidoscopes, all of them, only the ones with 6 repeated are kaleidoscopes. And generally I did some photo editing to get it a little bit easier to understand. Alright, so now I can cut it in 3. Let me see, what length do I have here? 4 inches and a half. 4 inches. I'm trying to should be 1.5 inches pieces if I have perfectly 4.5. Alright, let me grab my so your first thing is to go in a half circle. I mean, you can go all the way to cut 6, but trust me, it's very hard to properly do. And now you can make it into a circle. Of course you can continue to go with it like a hexagon, but it's much easier to do it as a circle. And just reduce it enough that you can cut it in 2 and actually do a circle. And again, remember the edges that might stay a little bit behind. I'm usually good if I have even 1/2 inch. I'm good to reduce, but as a general idea, I always recommend to get to, don't go below 1 inch if you're not very experienced in making and reducing canes. Okay, should have pretty good 2 inches. Hey, get off. And as I said, this is going to be a very delicate one. Why I did use a skinner blend and not a plain line? Because when you do a line and you go very, very small, it's going to disappear. While if you have a skinner blend, it's going to keep the color. Make sure that you match it in the front and in the back as well. Now once you're in the middle here, always first work on the very middle of it, because otherwise the middle of it is going to stay behind and you'll get the edges coming out a lot. So you always start in the middle and then gently come towards the ends. This is the way. I'm still going to lose some clay here, but it's not going to be as much as if I would have started directly with it. And as I said, on lives I'm used to losing clay, and especially with this black clay. Now of course you can do this just with blue. You can make this combination with blue, but if you make the combination with blue, then I recommend that how I had the blue between the white and the black, I recommend that you get like a turquoise or even a teal between the white and the black, or even you can even go with a more yellowish color. Okay. Going to try and control a little bit the loss. But I will show you why I've been saying that it is where it says broken link on YouTube. Oh. Let me check. No, it works for me. I don't know where you're trying to access it, Saskia. It works just fine for me. Whenever you reduce canes like this, never go with your fingers, because that's going to pretty much gouge it like this. So you always do it with your palm. Okay, to the point where... Oh, I don't think so. Hold on, let me check something. Might be because you're in Indonesia, because I can see it just fine. Hold on. Oh, come on. I mean, if we go on the... Okay, if we go, let's say the last Sundays, and I go under my Facebook page, it opens it. I have no issues with it, so I don't know, maybe because you're Indonesia, I don't know. I have no idea. But if you just go on YouTube, on Facebook, and you search for Kalyana design, you should be finding it. Okay. Oh. There you go. Oh yes, you definitely could. And beads. Tiny. Okay, it's getting super soft now. It's very hard to work with. But the main idea of me making this specific cane, as I said, it's very delicate. The main idea of me making this specific cane is to show you how you can get off the beaten path, because everybody does snowflakes, and normal, because that's pretty much what you see, especially in daylight. Snowflakes are done with white, translucent, and blue, pretty much. Sometimes a little bit of silver or gray. But the way that you work these, let me grab this off. Okay, so the way that you work them, you put them on the back of the I don't know what to tell you. Might be because of where you are. Okay, I put this one on top of the other and they stuck. Okay, they are not perfectly cut because they are too soft and they stick to each other. But anyway, you place them on the same background and then you burnish them in really good to avoid any of the lines that are usually around the edges of the slices of canes. But remember, burnishing is practically pressing the clay down, and it's wiggly like this because, as I said, it got super warm and it doesn't keep this. You need to do pretty much a cooling off of the cane. And when you burnish with the roller, you don't roll, you just go around like this. Alright, and I'm gonna just use this because I don't want to get up and get another one. But remember, you need to let it cool off in order to cut the slices and do this whole thing and then stay whole and unwiggled. Because we can have a rhomboidal, so it doesn't even cut properly. And it's going to be, let me refocus, very, very delicate and very lacy-like, very icy-like, depends on how you want to. But again, it's very deformed because it's very hot. The cane, you need to do it properly. But as you can see, you do the burnishing until, and this needs a little bit even more burnished, and then you can do a slight, see, these areas are completely burnished. I still have a little spot here that's not perfectly burnished. And of course, if you want, you can make it thicker. I personally like it very thin like this because it looks almost like spider webbish, if you want. So I guess I'm done for now. I'm gonna have on the, it's going to be on the 19. Why don't you let me know? I'm gonna post in the community tab and tell me what would you like to do next Sunday. Just an idea about what you want to do. Um, and we'll see if I can, and if I'm able to, if I have everything that I need, and if I'm able to. Okay, I need to go rest a little bit. I've been over an hour. I'm proud of myself, and I was able to reduce a cane. I'm proud of myself again. Thank you so much. And I will write right after the live the post in the community tab, and please let me know in the comments. Yeah, ephemeral, ethereal, however you want to call it. Thank you. Have a wonderful what's left of Sunday. Bye.